Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to a Gamescom roundup video. While I was away, I barely had time to sort of sit down and do a proper video, and honestly, I've come back and I've felt kind of re-energized, which is sort of the perk of going on a pseudo-work, pseudo-holiday, pseudo-thing. Anyway, tons and tons of stuff happened at Gamescom, loads and loads of things to talk about. We're really going to just bounce between them, so we're going to talk a little bit about Junkertown, some of the PTR patch changes, some of the season changes, and some of, well, some personal stuff as well, I guess. Stay tuned, basically, there's going to be a ton to talk about. First thing I really want to highlight is the Mercy change. It's definitely by far the biggest change going into the upcoming patch, and it's going to have a really big effect on the game, just because First Blood and getting kills quickly in Overwatch is so high priority. Getting a pick is infinitely good. Like, it's so powerful and can completely end pushes, for example, onto control point. It's going to have a massive impact. So let's say, you know, you guys have all been there, I'm pretty sure. You're getting ready to attack, and then for some reason your DPS just pokes out into the choke. Just, you know, Soldier 76 just wants to fire one bullet at someone, and their Hanzo fires one arrow back and he dies, and so, well, that push is done. You can't do anything. Well, now that's going to change. Mercy's going to increase the tempo of the game. She's going to make it more active and more fun, and I really didn't like the previous Mercy mechanics anyway. Just the idea that you have to go and hide and that kind of stuff is just not fun, it's not interesting. The new Mercy has a way higher skill ceiling, there's way more to do, there's tons and tons of stuff, fun stuff you can do with it. If you do want to play a relatively passive and just put beams on everyone, you can. If you want to go more aggressive every now and then, you can, but your positioning is going to be more important, your decision making in terms of valuing the res is going to be more important, and just keeping the tempo of a fight is going to be really crucial. It's super nice. I can't wait to see it. Is Mercy going to be mandatory now? Maybe, because it's kind of hard to beat the healing output of bringing someone back from the dead, especially if they have a lot of out-of-the-box power, like someone like a Winston, for example, who gets, you know, he can jump on people and he can put down a bubble and stuff like that. Something like Zarya will be very weak to resurrect, but if they can sort of come up and do something big pretty much immediately, that's going to be absolutely huge to pick them back up. And of course, if it's just a big chunk of health points as well, then it's basically an instant 600 or 500 heal in some cases. Other than that, I've talked about a lot of the other changes before, so let's just skip straight to D.Va. D.Va's changes are kind of interesting because, A, no one really liked the oppressive D.Va, but the new D.Va is going to be kind of strange for a while. It's going to take a bit of an adjustment period, I think, for people to get used to it, especially the flying and shooting and, like, rockets and all that kind of stuff. Knowing how to use your abilities to burst someone down accurately is going to be super crucial. I mean, the big trick that I notice is that when you press missiles, of course, there's a small delay before the missiles actually fire, so you have that little bit of a lag, I guess, when you press the button and then suddenly nothing happens for a second or two, and then you fire all your missiles, fires your missiles. So that's like early 2000s internet memery. Anyway, tons of damage coming out of that. Like, you can almost one-shot someone with the missiles alone, so as long as you're moderately accurate with them, you can really blow people up. It's going to make it hard to play Widowmaker, it's going to make it hard to play anything that's relatively static, but overall increase the tempo of the game. The big change is, of course, you're getting rid of defense matrix. Less defense matrix in the game makes me extraordinarily happy, and I'm sure it makes a lot of you happy, right? I mean, good lord, that thing was frustrating as hell. So seeing that sort of dip more towards the back and sort of having less of it, meaning you have to use it more tactically, is super useful, super nice. It does also mean, though, that the recharge on it does feel extraordinarily long, so, you know, there's a lag period before it starts regenerating, and then it just regenerates extremely slowly, and it feels like you just don't have enough to do much. Now, that might just be sort of bias because we're used to having tons of defense metrics to play around with, but just having so little and then having it regenerate so slowly does feel extremely punishing if you do use it and you don't get anything with it. So we'll see where they go with that. Of course, the design, like, and this is sort of true for both of these characters, because I've seen people say, oh, Mercy's overpowered on PTR. First and foremost, it's a huge change. It's really hard to get sort of power level as well on the PTR, because PTR is random-ish. Well, it's not random, but there is matchmaking, but it's still kind of all over the place. So it's very difficult to get a good feel for just how it will work in live, how it will work in competitive, stuff like that. The Mercy does feel quite strong. The D.Va feels a little bit weak, perhaps, but it's going to be interesting to see how it develops. But the design is better, and that's so important, right? Because after the design is right, then all you need is numbers, and numbers are kind of easy. You know, you tweak some numbers here and there, and suddenly everything works. My one concern with these two changes is that Tracer is going to be off the hook. So Tracer is going to be even more powerful, and especially with the Resurrect, if she does get picked off or punished, then you just bring her back and now she's suddenly bouncing around the map again and evading everyone's damage. So it's kind of frustrating. Tracer, of course, has been dominating a lot of the top 500 and has been dominating the meta for a long time now. So I definitely think that they need to keep an eye on her and maybe have a look at adjusting one or two things, whether it's the pulse bomb charge rate, the blink cooldown, stuff like that. Just, you know, tweak here and there. It doesn't have to be huge, doesn't have to be massive, maybe even a damage reduction, we'll see. But just, you know, minor tweaks, minor tweaks to Tracer. But I'm glad to see that they're going on like a buffing spree. I imagine we might see some nerfs in the near future here and there, but it's still nice to see that they're overall increasing the tempo of the game, turning those knobs up and keeping the speed nice and fast. Other than that, the new map, Junkertown, I got to play it a bunch of times when I was there because I could hang around in the streamer area and just sort of get to do that. It's a lot of fun. It's actually a really nice looking map. Of course, it's hard to tell until it hits live when we really figure out how to play it properly. But the big difference I noticed is that with Eichenwalde and Oasis, you can notice problems pretty much immediately. Like in Eichenwalde, it didn't take a genius to realize that that first choke point was going to feel really bad if the teams weren't perfectly matched, or if one team was just performing better than the others. Eichenwalde was always sort of going to be this issue where if you can't get through that first choke reliably, you're just going to get bogged down there forever. With this map, that doesn't really happen. This map, the only flaw with it that I've noticed is that the spawn doors are all very open, and we managed to sort of pass that back to the devs themselves, because there were a bunch of devs there at Gamescom that we could talk to directly. So we basically told them, hey, if you stand in certain positions, you can see all 3 spawn exits, basically. And so, or at least close enough to all 3 spawn doors, which doesn't feel quite right. You should be able to find a way to sneak out somewhere. So yeah, it's a really good map, it's a pretty map, it changes its sort of playstyle very dramatically as well from point to point, which is something I really like because it emphasizes hero switching when you do move from one point to the next, so you can actually sort of think, oh well, this first area is super open, so maybe pharmacy, maybe, well actually maybe not pharmacy because it's not actually that vertical, well you don't have huge amounts of vertical cover, maybe if you stick low it could work, I don't know, but there's tons of different little things you can use. Then as you get more and more through the map, it gets narrower and narrower. Then stuff like Doomfist might be really strong, for example. So it's going to be interesting to see how that map develops. I imagine Winston's going to be great on the third point as well, because there's lots of higher ground areas you can sort of bounce down from and stuff like that, and jump around and have a good time. Oh hell, I almost forgot as well, like the Season 6 changes going into the game, of course. So a big thing will be the 2-month change. It's actually kind of interesting speaking to one of the developers about that, because, so Jeff mentioned this in his update, right, that they used to have, when they first unveiled competitive, they had 1-month seasons. And so everyone went, no, that's not going to work. And the reason why was pretty simple. Everyone looked at Hearthstone and thought, oh well, it's just going to work exactly the same as Hearthstone, which isn't actually how it ended up working. In Hearthstone, if you weren't aware, you get reset back down like several ranks. You drop down really low. For me, I pretty much always end up at rank 20 again, and then you get to play back all the way through the ladder, basically trying to climb. Now, most people don't get placed down that low again, but whatever. You have this substantial drop. And so if you climb to Grandmaster, let's say you get placed in Platinum and somehow you climb to Grandmaster in a month and then suddenly you have to do that again every single month, no one's really going to want to do that. Like every single month? No, that's way too short. What we didn't know was that they were going to keep a hold of MMR and keep a hold of sort of the placements and have placements matter less and less and less and less the more you play. As a result, the 2-month seasons are going to feel a lot better. Seasons in general just tend to give a nice breath of fresh air, I suppose, to the game, where you have that little bit of a week off, or like half a week off, or whatever, and then suddenly you get into the next season, and everyone kind of feels, it's a new season, it's a time for changes, it's time to see new stuff going in, and maybe this season won't be as bad as the last one. Season 5 will probably go down as one of the worst. I think Season 3 was another really bad season. Season 4 was alright. It wasn't terrible, even though it was that the height of the tank meta? Oh, it all blurs together after a while. So stuff like the control map being changed to best of 3 instead of best of 5, okay, it used to be best of 3 anyway, so having it be best of 3 seems fine to me. It might feel a little bit short here and there, but it's still pretty nice. The placement adjustment, I completely understand. I am someone who likes the climb and understand the system, but I totally understand that most players, like, you've got to remember, guys, you guys are, especially you guys watching me, are a very, very niche audience, where, you know, you guys understand the news, you tend to understand what's going on with the game, because you watch news channels, you watch, you absorb all this other Overwatch content, but you know, Johnny Plebface, who doesn't watch Overwatch content and doesn't watch any of the side stuff, will just get, you know, he'll climb to platinum and he'll go, yeah, I got to platinum, woo! And then suddenly next season he's back down in low gold or whatever, and it's like, man, why do I have to reclimb that? He doesn't know that he's going to get like boosted SR gains until he gets platinum again. And like every single time the new season rolled around, I had people asking me constantly on stream like, oh, well, why did I play so low? And it's like, well, that's how the system works, but you'll climb back in super fast because you get boosted gains. So yeah, just getting rid of that system, probably a lot cleaner for Blizzard. It was also nice to see them change on decay. So hey, like, it's really nice to see that that's sort of coming in, only losing like 25 instead of 50. It used to be super punishing. I know a lot of my accounts will occasionally decay, and it's the problem with losing 50 is this as well, which is the mentality that I should just go into a game and just like lose it as fast as, like, if I don't have time to play or whatever, I'm busy doing other stuff, I should just go into a game and lose it as fast as possible, because that would be technically more beneficial for me in terms of time and in SR, because losing 50 SR is infinitely bad, but losing 20 SR or 15 SR because you lost a game is okay. And so it's frustrating, right? Like, I don't want to have to deal with these massive blows of taking 50 loss. Now, I've never ever done that. Let me make that absolutely clear. I've always gone in and just played a game, but it does feel like you're sort of obliged to do so. So that was kind of interesting to see. There's also tons and tons of other little adjustments going into the system constantly to make it feel a little bit better. Queue times are going to be longer for high level players, but games might be better balanced. They might be taking more into stock as well, like your profile. So if you play a ton of support, then they might be sort of making sure that you're not getting matched with 4 other people that also play a ton of support and stuff like that. So the system is constantly being fine-tuned. It was sort of nice to get that out of Blizzard and them saying, hey, yeah, we're working on it. I mean, I know they constantly say that, but it's just nice to sort of talk to them directly, I suppose, and get that little bit of comfort. So here's hoping Season 6 is going to be huge. I will also say this. If anyone tells you I know exactly what Season 6's meta is going to be, they are a fucking liar. There are like 6 patch changes going in, 6 heroes all getting radically changed in various ways. It's gonna be interesting. With Doomfist mixed in as well, it's impossible to know where stuff is gonna land. And finally, I do just want to say that thank you for those of you who did donate to help me get to Gamescom on the stream. Thank you for all the support you guys have done as well. I had an absolute blast. I was happy to meet a whole bunch of people there, including fans, developers, the Blizzard community guys, my fellow streamers and YouTubers. Had a great time chatting with absolutely everyone. And honestly, if you've been following this channel a long time, I like to speak out sort of publicly about this sort of stuff. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that I am a depressive. And it's been really nice to sort of come back and realize that I feel refreshed. I feel mentally sort of refreshed and good to go. And I haven't felt this mentally sharp in a while, which is really nice for me. It basically means I feel sort of alert and awake, and it's part of why this video exists, because I want to do something, which is very rare for me. So when that happens, I like to kind of strike when the iron is hot and try and get a couple of things going on the side. Otherwise, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to sort of talk about stuff, and I appeared on a bunch of streams as well. I managed to talk to like Valkyrie and Stein, get on their streams for a little while, introduce a whole new bunch of people to the glory that is my shiny bald head. But yeah, if you are considering going to Gamescom at some point, I do recommend it. Maybe not all 4 days. 4 days is extremely tiring. You're going to spend a lot of time in lines, though, is the only downside. But if you can make it out there just to see the show, then absolutely do it. The Blizzard guys are phenomenally good, and the developers were all super nice as well. The ones that I managed to speak to, there was a bunch of them there. They were super generous, super nice, and just incredible. And I think I posted out like a string of tweets just sort of while I was having a coffee, waiting to sort of go back to the airport and sort of digesting the week. And you know, this surreal moments where, you know, you're in a bar and you're drinking some Kolsch, which is sort of the beer of Cologne, and you can hear Ben Brode laughing in the background, like sort of his booming laugh. If you haven't seen any of the Hearthstone videos that he makes for the Hearthstone team, I guess, he has a huge force of personality, so you just hear his booming laughter somewhere in the distance. It's like, oh man, Ben Brode's here, and you know exactly where he is because you can hear him a mile away. But talking to sort of Tim Ford, Rachel Day, are sort of the 2 developers I spent most of the time talking with, they were super nice. I mean, all the Blizzard guys are just like one big family, so it was great to be there and chat with them all. Otherwise, it was great meeting a bunch of fans. A bunch of people did come out and say hello and sign a bunch of different things. If you do see me in an event like that, do not be afraid to wave me over. I'm not like super huge, so it's a little bit of a novelty to me as it is to you guys. I'll generally try and chat with you for a little while, sign whatever you want me to, take a picture and all that kind of stuff. It's good fun. Otherwise, yeah, thank you guys for watching to the end. I'm looking forward to maybe producing a couple more videos. Here's hoping. It's kind of the side effect of sort of being around people like Stylosa who are so energized and so sort of focused. It sort of bleeds off onto you. So here comes all the 10-minute videos, I suppose, about a single topic where I just ramble endlessly, like I am doing now. Thank you guys for watching to the end. I have been Josh's one voice amongst many. Do remember to smash that like button as well, and subscribe, and all that bullshit, whatever, I don't really care. Subscribe if you want. I love you guys. What a rambly ending. I apologize. Toodles.